Of course, I'm outside the detention centre where 4 of the activists who were sentenced to jail today are being held until they move on to prison, likely in a few days' time. Now, they received the longest sentence for anyone who took part in the pro-democracy protests of 2014, when tens of thousands took to the streets to call for greater democracy in Hong Kong in a demonstration that paralysed parts of the city for about 79 days in 2014. Now, some of the people who took part in those protests are here tonight in a show of support. As I mentioned, the candles are being lit for the vigil, the yellow umbrellas are up, and there is a sense that perhaps they need to grasp this momentum for the democracy movement, which has, frankly, taken a back seat since those protests around 4 years ago.
And Britt, what kind of response are we hearing, if any, from authorities both in Beijing and Hong Kong?
Well, no surprises. Beijing's foreign ministry came out and said they support the punishment for those behind the democracy protests of 2014. They also had a stern word for foreign critics. Now, the city's leader, Carrie Lam, she's been largely quiet, but before the sentencing, she said that no matter what happens, that the rule of law would be upheld and freedom of expression intact. That, of course, runs opposed to some people I've spoken to in the pro-democracy camp. Joshua Wong, one of the fresh faces of those protests in 2014, and Human Rights Watch actually both told me that this could send a chilling effect through Hong Kong, that it would perhaps deter people from taking part in such demonstrations because of the fear of the consequences.
Okay, Britt, we will leave it there for now. Thanks so much for that from Hong Kong.